Hey guys, Jeremy here at My Way MFG. Gonna go over and start working on this garnish moldings today. Try to get the windshield one test fitted. It's never been on there before. Make sure it fits before we paint everything and get it ready to put on permanently, you know. Don't want to be messing with it, scratching it after that. I'm gonna have to drill a few holes, figure out what size screws I need, stuff like that. I see I didn't win a Grammy again this year. They keep putting me up against that damn George Clooney. How do you beat that guy? I mean, why wouldn't they run me against Nicolas Cage once in a while? Give the guy a chance, you know? But anyway, enough of that. Let's go over and see if we can at least get started on test fitting them. And then I got a little body work to do to them, paint them, put them on for good. Anyway, see you in the garage, guys. Guys, I think you've heard me say this before, but when you're buying these old cars and you're going to look at them, make sure all the big pieces are there, all the major pieces, interior parts, all them garnish moldings and stuff, because that stuff gets terribly expensive. As we're working on the windshield garnish moldings right now and trying to get them test fitted, I was wondering what size screws I needed, so I was looking for a screw kit, and I thought maybe it would list the lengths, kind of take the guesswork out of it. I couldn't find that, but look what I did find. These are those two windshield trim pieces that we're messing with today. $229. $229, and them things are they're not much to them, guys. There's not much to them. So even if they're in bad shape, you're going to want to try to fix them, because that stuff will add up on you real quick. It's okay. When I got the car, the windshield garnish moldings were out of it. They weren't in it. Didn't have any of the screws. I talked to Richard. He'd ordered a screw kit for his car. They're not all the same length. He seems to remember the shortest ones in the kit went around the back window. Well, my back window garnish molding's still on there, so I'll be able to take them out and measure and know what they are. Same way with the backside garnish moldings. So far, I have found 3 original screws that I think I took out of the doors, and they're all the same length. So I'm guessing that they're using this is probably the intermediate length they're using everywhere. I'm thinking they're probably using this length about everywhere. I'm thinking the back window is going to be shorter from what Richard says. And then I think there's going to be 4 long ones that go in the side of the windshield on the A-pillars. I don't know if those will reach. That's a pretty good depth back there. But we'll use these for a starting point and see if we need longer ones to go in the side. And then when we take the back window garnish molding off, we'll see if it takes these or shorter ones. But at least we got the diameter. And I'm gonna drill a hole with an 1/8 inch drill bit, see if those fit in an 1/8 inch hole, because I'm gonna have to re-drill a couple holes in the side on them A-pillars, I think, where I done some of that fiberglass work. Oh, and then up along the top where I put that new piece of metal, there's not gonna be any holes there either. So yeah, we gotta figure out what drill bit to use, and it's gonna be a little work. Okay guys, I found these metal siding screws. They got 1/4 inch heads on them for a 1/4 inch drive bit. They are the same size diameter as the original interior screws, just slightly longer. I'm thinking those will work real good for mock-up. They'll be easy to get in and out, you know. And they're self-tappers. So if I'm missing a hole somewhere, I might be able to just use those to make the hole, or at least I'll be able to make a mark and then drill it, you know, whatever works best. I don't think they're long enough to reach back into the A-pillars. They might be, but I've got 4 more here that are longer, different size here. I ought to be able to use those in the sides if those don't reach. You know, not bottom them out all the way, but just figure out how long they need to be. We can measure how much is still sticking out. And then we get stainless steel interior screws with that diameter shaft, and we'll know what lengths and how many to get. And so anyway, guys, I think I got a plan now. So I'm gonna head back over there and see what I can come up with. All right, I got a screw here in the top for mock-up purposes. That was one of the real long ones I had. I'm finding that these are just a little too short to go down the sides. They're also a little too short to go here. I've got another long one there. Reason being is these are countersunk down in there. So it takes a pretty long screw. They don't have to be that long, but they need to be one size longer than these. And then up here, I don't have any of the screw holes because this piece is all new, but it's looking like these would reach there. So I'm kind of getting an idea here. I've got this screw here, and I've got this one here. So the rest of these I ought to be able to get. I'm not going to put them in right now because I'd have to pull my towel out, and I don't want to do that. But as long as there's nothing broke off in the holes, I'm just going to assume that the spacing's right and those will work. So I'm going to get one up here next and get this pulled up tight. And then I'll go ahead and make the holes, seeing as how they're not here. After I get one in, I'll make the others. Then we'll move on to the other side. And then try to put the centerpiece on. Then we get all this back off and get it all sanded up and painted. When I put this vinyl up through here, I didn't make my cut right there, and it shows. I'm gonna have to overlap me a little piece of vinyl in there and put a fold in it or something and try to hide that. I just assumed that would cover that, I guess, or I wasn't thinking about it, but now that I know that, this side isn't done yet, so we'll try to do a little better job over there. But yeah, that's kind of a bummer. That's a good place to hide it, though. I can lap right up in underneath this thing, and then by the time it gets down here, you don't see nothing anyway. You know, it disappears into the dash, kind of, so yeah, nobody will ever know. Should be good. Let's see if we can get the other side on there. This side over here, I done all that fiberglass work, so there's no screw holes. So this side here is going to be a little more of a guess. I'll try to get a screw in here and just push that up tight. Just make sure it all looks kind of right, you know. I've been taking this 1/8" drill bit and running it through and finding my holes. There it is right there. About hit me in the eye. All right. Seems to me that's pretty well mucked up into place. If this screws in the hole, the next two on each side have to be. This hole here had a broken screw in it. I'm just going to run a screw in there and self-tap it right alongside the broken one. It seemed like if I tried to get it out, I might make it worse, you know. I don't want to be up in here trying to run a die grinder. I'd be right in between vinyl and glass with it. If the screw's 1/16 of an inch off the original hole beside the old broken one, that's fine. Might tip the screw a little bit, but nobody's gonna know. These two here are both being tapped into fiberglass, but they seem to be right. I'm not sure what these two holes up here are for. As I go to put that centerpiece on, I've just had some sheet metal screws pushed through the holes to hold them kind of in place as I've been driving it around. That's never been on there. Those are two separate gaskets. They overlap in the middle, so all them 3 holes have to line up. I don't think I can get that on by myself. I need somebody out here pushing on it through the first rubber gasket. They can start it out here and get it through the first set of holes. And then I think I could go inside, pull the gasket over the inside overlapped gasket, get that clear through both pieces, and then try to get the screws in the centerpiece. But I'm gonna wait until Colton can help me, because I think that's gonna be a 2-man job. These garnish moldings are both on here. They're where they need to be, I believe. Want to test fit it with the centerpiece first, and we'll pull that back off. Just a little bit more body work to do to these. They're all fiberglass stuff. It's just a little body filler work, a little finish work. Won't take too long, and those will be ready to paint. The driver's side door, the jamb on it, I think I had it about ready for paint. Let's take a look. You know, I was talking about on the door garnish moldings, leaving one together until I got the other one together. If you look here, there's a rubber strip. This is the back one. It goes down the whole length of the bottom. That would seal against your inside cloth or vinyl or whatever you got. Had that not been there, I wouldn't know that was supposed to be there, you know. So yeah, you just gotta kind of look for that stuff. If I'd ordered a kit and that came in it, I'd be wondering where it went, you know. But we can get like you know, that rubber weather seal at Menards or something, and stick a piece of foam down through here when we go to put this one back together. And then this here we'll have to order. It might come in the kit, this might. But yeah, that's why it's good to have those to look at and see what, you know, look at in original condition, so you can kind of see where everything went, you know. As I go to get this off of here, just gonna start cleaning on that. This is cardboard, I think. I thought it was rubber. Anyway, I'm gonna start cleaning on this. The remnants of this stuff, I'm just kind of prying off with my pocket knife. Then you can take a grinder and grind the staple heads off, you know. Driver's side back garnish molding. I said about a third of it I thought was bad on the lip where the window seals against. This might be one of those rare instances when after you start working on it and getting it cleaned up, it actually looks better now than it did before. I've got a little bit of rust right here, and then it's good to hear. Basically right there. Basically right there I've got it fixed, and then just a little spot right here. And it doesn't have to look good by any means. It gets covered up. It's just got to have a surface area back on here so we got something to attach to. So that shouldn't be too bad of a problem. The rest of this all looks really good. Really good everywhere else. So I think this is just, I think we're getting lucky here. And I also think, I don't have the other two off the back window and the other back side, but just at a quick glance, I would say this is the worst one, because the others look better from what you can tell. So we get this one fixed. This might be our, this one probably takes the most repair, I'm guessing. Now this is the part that you do see. It's mostly good except for this corner right up here. So I'm gonna finish cleaning this up. Might not be too bad. All this real heavy looking rust buildup down here on the bottom. As I clean it up, there's really not even any pitting down there. I think that's gonna clean up real good. It's good up this side. I think we're gonna get real lucky with this piece. I need a little luck, right? Yes, I do. I need a little luck. So keep going here. Colt and I have been working out here for about an hour trying to get this center pieces on the windshield for mock-up. Boy, those are quite difficult to get on. You got those two overlapping pieces of rubber, and it wants to hold your screws at a weird angle, and then they're machine screws, so then you can't get them to thread in. That inside piece for the windshield division bar is an absolute bear to get on there. It's on there right now. The bottom two screws I feel pretty good about. The top one, I think it might have cross-threaded on me. I don't know. When I go to take it back off, I'll look and see. The two big garnish moldings aren't too bad to put on. We'll pull them back off and get them painted. I'm scared if I paint that middle one white, I'm gonna have it scratched all to hell by the time I get it on there. I guess we'll try it and see what happens. See what that top hole looks like. Might have to run a thread chase through it, tap through it and chase the thread, so I'm not sure. But it just seems like it might have got tight before it got tight. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that top ought to pull in a little more, but it's tight. So anyway, all that stuff is on there for the first time ever. It's never been on there before, whole time I've had the car. But yeah, that center piece is really, really difficult to get on there. Anyway, let's get all this back off here in the morning and we'll start doing the body work to it. And I guess I'll paint it white. I just hope I can get it on easily. Easier, you know. I came out here a little bit ago and just stuck some fiberglass mesh. I just put like a real thin little bit of Duraglass on there to stretch those out and hold them wherever I could get it to. Not much left behind there, guys. And so we'll get that soaked down with some resin and start getting some kind of structure back here so we got something to work off of, you know. I figured I'd get the best results from this turning it upside down. So I just brushed on the fiberglass resin. We'll let this get set up and see if we got something. See if we got something there we can work with after a while. Starting point, you know. Got to get some kind of structure there so we got something to build off of. Anyway, we'll let that set for a bit. Fiberglass this lip yesterday. That's all set up good and hard now. I'm going to take a cutoff wheel and try to start shaping that up a little bit. And then we'll apply some more. All right, we got a lip back on there now. It's warbly at the moment, but we'll get it straightened out as we apply more fiberglass. We had just enough remnants of metal left in there that I had something to apply that to and was able to get it on there. Had that have been rusted out worse, I guess what a guy could have done would have been take a wire like a coat hanger wire and tack it, get your shape, tack it again, stick your fiberglass to that, and then just build up from there. This is the inside part that you're not going to see, you know, where the rubber seal would go against the glass. But what that does now, it gives us an edge there. So now this is the part you do see. We'll start fiberglassing those and then wrapping it up and sticking it to this new edge and just keep building that up until we can sand it off flat. And so I'm gonna sand on this a little bit. There, you can see it good. I'm gonna sand on this a little bit and then apply some more fiberglass over the bigger holes down here. This is gonna be when it's done, because you can see all the rest of it looks pretty good. You know, just got this one corner here. All down through there is okay. Got these nice little body lines in it. That'll all look really nice painted up, you know. So anyway, I'm gonna keep working on this corner a little bit here today. Got a little Duraglass mixed up here. I'm just gonna use that to put like a thin coat on here like you was doing Vaseline, you know, just enough to hold my mesh down so it don't move around on me. And then we'll get the resin over the top of that. Just a real thin coat. Just enough to make it sticky, you know. Slide it up just a little. Didn't quite have all my pinholes covered here. You get to looking on the internet, you'll have a bunch of guys tell you, you know, you can't put fiberglass over cured fiberglass or it won't stick, or you got to apply it while it's still kind of, you know, in the process of setting up. I never do that, and it always sticks fine. I don't know if these guys have had a bad experience in the past, or maybe I just do it wrong, but I've never had a problem. In my experience with fiberglass, it sticks to everything, whether you want it to or not. The only thing I can think of that it won't stick to is like a plastic milk jug, or, you know, the container, the little lid they give you with the resin that you mix it in, like that milk jug plastic. Nothing will stick to that crap. But I think otherwise you could probably stick it to a cold dog turd and it would be fine. But yeah, I've never had a problem with fiberglass coming loose. As long as you're somewhat prepped and somewhat clean. I mean, you wouldn't want to put it over flaky rust, but yeah, never had a problem. Anyway, we're going to leave this set for now. I think I'm going to pull the windshield moldings back off of this car. I feel like this top screw might have cross-threaded on me. Get it back off, I'll be able to tell. Maybe it's not, but quite a time getting this on there. Any of you guys that's ever put these on before, you have my respect. You've got those two overlapping pieces of rubber. No matter what you do, it seems like the holes won't line up just perfect, and they hold your screws at a weird angle, and they're not very long screws anyway. So you can't really manipulate them, flathead screws. It's just quite a thing to, you could like stick a Phillips screwdriver through both sets of holes, the overlapping holes, and you can get them to line up. But as soon as you pull your screwdriver out, it's just like a rubber band stretching back to, and they won't move to try to line them up. You can get them lined up, they just spring back, you know. It's quite a thing getting that on there. All of that messing around we did in there, I was scared to death I was going to find scratches in my dash when I took the towel off. Luckily my dash survived, the towel saved me, so that's good. Over here I was worried about that top screw being cross-threaded because it wouldn't seem like it tightened up all the way. What I'm finding here with this, that screw there I can get to go clear through. These two here get to there and stop. But they thread easy to that point. They don't seem cross-threaded. It seems like the threads towards the back of these thread bosses, or whatever you would call them, it just won't go on through. I would be scared to break them trying to force them. I think I'll run a tap through there, get me a tap of that thread count, and make sure those all three go in easily like that. I don't think I checked those beforehand. And I don't know if it's something that I did to mess the threads up, or if they were never good to begin with, I guess is what I'm saying. So that's why that wasn't tightening up all the way. Had those screws have been going clear through, I think that might have went on. Or at least a little easier. But then the next problem is, I don't know if I can show you guys. See that top hole? You can kind of see daylight through it. So that one's lined up fairly well. It's just hard to get through both holes in that rubber. You know what I'm considering doing? I don't know if it's the right thing to do or not, but the inner piece that overlaps on the inside, I wouldn't think water should ever get to that anyway. The outside piece should stop it. I might just take a piece of side cutters and oval these holes out a little bit, just so I can see daylight through them and know that they're lining up good. Because if you ever got water to this inside piece, you're in trouble anyway, because that's just going to run on the dash. I would think that water would never get to that point. And if you could get your screws all in there good and get that all cinched together, it ought to seal from the outside, you know. Like that top hole, though, if you look, you can see daylight through that one. That one isn't too bad. But it's just very hard to get all three of those. They want to hold your screw at a funny angle, and the screws aren't long enough to manipulate to get them straightened out. Anyway, I just want to think of a way to get this together a little easier so I'm not fighting with it after it's painted, you know. So that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Oh, and then I was going to make sure that all these screw holes here didn't have anything broke off in them. That one looked good. That one's good. That one's good. All four of those are good. So, yeah, I don't think we've done any damage yet anyway, so that's good. Working on all this stuff while this is setting up. And this has got that hole there in the bottom. That's where the windshield wiper switch would have originally went. I'm going to fill that and get rid of it and just smooth that off. Yeah, I don't need it there, seeing as how I'm painting this anyway. So anyway, work on this stuff for a bit, guys. I had fiberglassed up both of these halves last year. Couldn't really remember where I left off. The fiberglass work is done. This one I had primer on. I don't think I ever put any body filler on it. I think I had my fiberglass on there fairly smooth, and I just wanted to put some primer on it to see where I was at. It looks real good along the top. Just kind of using a primer as a guide coat looking. That all looks pretty good. You get down in here in the bottom where I done the fiberglass work, it's needing some fill in there in some places. So it's mainly right around in here is where it's the worst. You can look at the back side and see that I've done some fiberglass work there. A little glazing compound on there. I think the rest of that would sand out with another coat of primer. We'll let this set up and rework this area right here. I think the rest of it's probably pretty good. Guess it's time we take a good look at this one. That all looks really good too. I think I'm going to go ahead and prime this one so I can see what I've got, and then put some glazing powder where I need it, you know. If I prime it first, I can kind of see what needs done. That hole that was in that for that windshield wiper knob, I got that mostly welded up. I just stuck a bolt head through there and welded it and then ground it off on both sides. But I'm gonna hit that with a little bit of that glazing compound and get that looking good. All right, this one's got a little fresh primer on it. Gonna see where we're at with that one. That one's got some glazing compound on it. I think we just got to fix right there, and that one's good. Reprime it. Got some glazing compound on the bottom of the centerpiece. Sand that out and see if we need more. This piece here, we've got a good start on the fiberglass. It's drying. That takes us back to this piece. I'm going to disassemble this one because the other one's still together. As I look at the cat whisker piece, it goes along the bottom, ends right here. It's got more of those staples in it. I don't know how you reattach the new ones. We'll figure it out when that time comes. I have no idea how this rubber attaches around here. I'm going to go ahead and grind this rivet off and get this frame out of here. It's got some of that double-sided glass tape in it. We'll get it cleaned up. We'll see how this rubber attaches. That's going to be the first thing I order, I think, is that wing vent rubber. We'll try to get it in. But we're just going to start disassembling this one. I don't think this needs any body work. We'll prime it, see what it looks like after it's cleaned up. But, that wing vent rubber kit also comes with a seal that goes up that division bar. There's a seal that goes up along here. And guess that's it right there. Looks like there's some tabs bent over here and here. But once again, we'll figure out how all that attaches when we get the new one here, you know. It's not what I was expecting. I thought it was a rubber flap. I just don't know what to think of that yet. We'll see when it gets here. This is all new to me, guys. All new to me. I'm gonna grind this rivet out of here real quick. Got this off. That other washer there that's got the oblong part to it, that was in between. Up in there. I suppose it acts as a stopper, you know, to keep that from opening too far. So we gotta make sure we get that back in right. I got this mostly cleaned out, that double-sided tape. There's a little scraping to do back in there. And that handle works good, even the little lock thing. So that's good. This should be able to just be cleaned up and painted, and then we'll polish out that handle a little bit. Handle doesn't look too bad. It'll polish up kind of nice. A little bit of pitting. This rubber, from what I'm seeing right now, there's a rivet on top and one on the bottom. that might be all that holds that, and then it fits in that groove channel. I'm gonna drill them 2 rivets out with an 1/8 inch drill bit and see if I can peel that off of there. And then this here is stapled on. I think I said already, we're gonna have to have a different way to attach that. We'll see what it looks like, the new one in the kit, you know. But anyway, keep going here. Along the top, that rubber is still kind of pliable. You get down at the bottom where it's been sun baked and it's brittle, you know. So I guess other than cleaning, that's as far as I'm going to disassemble that, other than grinding these staples off and getting this cat whisker thing off of here. I guess I'll do that next. Then this will be ready to start sanding and cleaning on. I think it's in perfect condition. That's good. That's what we want. Sanded that out, shot a little primer on the bottom of that. That's getting pretty close. Might be a little more to do to it, but yeah, it's not too bad. I'm gonna run home for a bit, guys. Take a little break, get back over here. Maybe this will all be dried up on some of this stuff and we can do a little more. You know. Another thing I'm gonna do to make that go in a little easier on that centerpiece, well, all of the garnish molding, actually, I'm gonna get stainless steel Phillips head screws. Now, Henry, he used straight slotted screws. You think, well, maybe he didn't have Phillips head screws, 1940. Well, they did. They started manufacturing Phillips head screws in 1935. But they were still kind of a new idea at that time, and Henry didn't like new ideas all that good. After all, slotted head screws have been around since the 14th century, you know? Why not use them? Well, I'm pretty sure Phillips head screws are better than slotted head screws. They've been around several years now. So I think by the use of Phillips head screws, I can angle them up or down a little bit when I go through that rubber. The slotted head screw, you just can't do that. I'm all about making things easy, and I'm not trying to pass 100% or a 100-point inspection or anything like that at a prestigious car show of any kind. So Phillips head screws it is. And I got home here, guys, and I started editing this video and realized it's like 49 minutes. There wasn't really anything on it I wanted to get rid of. I don't want to make it any longer, so I think I'm just going to post a Wednesday video. We'll just do another one Saturday. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for following along, subscribing, sharing, liking, all those things. Love the comments, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later, Jeremy.